All right, so now that we know what conflict is, we've talked about the exposition, antecedent action. Now we're going to talk about rising action. So rising action are the series of conflicts in the story that lead to the story's climax. Remember that the inciting incident or initial conflict, that's only the first conflict that happens that starts the story going. That is the main problem that they're trying to fix. But if that was the only conflict that would ever be in that story, it would be kind of boring. Characters are going to encounter more problems as they try to solve that first initial incident. Where we see rising action is that upward slope. So we have our exposition, our inciting incident starts the story going. We're going to start going up, and it's an uphill battle because we have these rising action, smaller conflicts, more problems that our character is going to encounter as they're trying to solve that first inciting incident. If I go to my next slide here, the climax is the turning point of the story. An easy way to try and pick out where our climax is it will oftentimes be the most intense moment, in either mentally or in action. Okay, so there will be the most exciting things happening, there'll be a lot happening, or maybe the character just has an intense emotional moment. Another thing about the climax is it solves the inciting conflict or inciting incident. So that first conflict that started the story going, now we'll have a resolution. It'll have some sort of solution. And the climax there, if we look at our plot diagram, it'll be at the top of that pyramid. Falling action, so once we have our climax, the falling action is everything leading to the resolution or final outcome. And here, I'm going to move my little window here. Falling action is that downhill slope. So the story is starting to come to an end. And the last part here is our resolution. This is where we're tying up loose ends. So the writer is wrapping up and tying up any loose ends, hoping that you won't have any more questions about the story. That's where they're going to answer those. They want you to leave the story satisfied. So if they leave it on a cliffhanger, if you think of movies, sometimes they'll do that. That's to keep you interested to come and see the next movie. But at the end of a movie series, if the writer decided to leave you on a cliffhanger, you wouldn't leave that movie theater feeling very satisfied. Okay? So that's their goal here with the resolution, is they're tying up loose ends from the story, trying not to leave any unanswered questions. And that is right down there, our resolution. On the next slide, there's going to be another clip of Piper, and it'll be from the point that it stopped at last time to the end. What I'd like you to keep an eye out for this time is what would be the rising action. More importantly, what is the climax? What event in Piper is solving his initial conflict, his inciting incident? The falling action, and what might be the resolution? It might be a little difficult to pick out rising action and falling action because it is such a short clip, but you should absolutely be able to pick out the conflict or the climax, what's solving that first conflict, the inciting incident, and how are things being wrapped up at the end of the story.